ladies and gentlemen, to the latest episode of Game Rivals. I am one of your hosts, Maximillian X, and as always with me is the E3 weary, the guy who would love to go hunting with Aloy, Sean Templar. How's it going, Sean?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. E3 is come and gone, so I'm a little bit tired, but got to relax a bit, take all of that in, come down from being super excited about certain announcements. If you guys haven't heard the bonus episodes that we did on E3, please check them out. They were very fun. We talked about the first half of E3, the second half of E3. Today, um, not so much more E3 news, but we're gonna keep it a bit simple in this episode, and we're just gonna talk about our experience with this year's E3, considering that a lot has changed. The world has changed, of course, with the pandemic and everything being digital, and what we thought were the highlights, what we thought were the lowlights, what we think what we hope that they'll do better next year, and what we think worked um, in this case. So, Sean, what do you feel like? What is your feeling about this year's E3? How it all went?
I don't mind the format they've chosen. I mean, I like that they worked with Jeff Keighley and had this kind of umbrella, which is the Summer Games Fest, kind of over it, and then E3 was kind of under it, and it kind of worked well because maybe I think because Keighley has done it in the past with all other sorts of shows, so he brings a lot of experience to the table. To be honest, I wouldn't mind if E3 went on in this format, seeing as it's better for us also from a timing point of view because there's no crazy time zone differences. Everything was in a reasonable time for us to watch instead of staying up late into the night and watching things. I also feel like since they're doing these digital events, they kind of get more to the point instead of dragging stuff out. So
Yeah.
like no crazy. Um, I don't know what it's called, but I remember when Kinect was first introduced on E3, they
Oh,
had
no,
that
no, no
crazy
crazy hiccups.
animals.
Yeah,
Yeah, they had that crazy animal. The little girl came onto stage and
yeah.
was playing with the animals. Those kind of weird tech demos, or when they showed off
You mean
Hololens with
cringy tech
Minecraft.
demos? Yeah.
Yeah, just like forced stuff. It feels like because they're just. It feels that there's more time pressure on them to just show the
Mhm.
stuff and perform instead of like, for example, the Square Enix press conference was a good example of that. That they showed Guardians of the Galaxy, and then they did like an interview, and then they showed like a gameplay cut. And I'm like, this is too much, man. You could have just shown me the trailer in the beginning, and then left it at there, or you could have just done a trailer and then a gameplay piece, and then leave it at that instead of just dragging it out. So when I liked how Microsoft didn't drag stuff out, I liked how Ubisoft was pretty straightforward, pun intended.
Mm.
And the Square Enix one was meh. The Capcom one was meh. The Namco Bandai one I didn't even check. I mean, like the only ones I watched were the Nintendo Direct, the Microsoft press conference, the the the
Ubisoft.
Ubisoft Forward, the Square Enix one. I mean, yeah, they were all good besides Square Enix, but hey, we've said that before. And
Hmm.
I like that with some games they just, for example, they did the Battlefield 2042 reveal in the Microsoft press conference. I liked how they did it there, and then later Dice did a bit more extensive stream, like 2 days later, where they went deeper into the game, and that's
Yeah,
something I liked. They should do that more.
yeah. So, just so people know, like the Summer Game Fest is still on because it's for the entire month of, well, not the entire month because it started on the 12th, but it's basically from the 12th to the 31st or the 30th. How many days does June have? 30? I think it's 30, 31. Anyway, till the end of the month is Summer Game Fest. So that's still going on. Microsoft is still part of that. So even after E3, they were still showing off more game stuff. I missed that stuff, unfortunately, mostly because I was streaming at the time, so I didn't really catch any of that. But there are a few I will say this: there are a few rectifications that we need to address that I found out afterwards. So, for example, at the Nintendo Direct, they showed off that Life is Strange True Colors and the remastered version are coming to Switch, and that the Guardians of the Galaxy game is coming to Switch. Those are not native games. At least I think True Colors isn't, and the remaster aren't, and neither is Guardians. It's cloud based. So
Okay. But also in the
yeah,
West or just in Japan?
no, like in general. Why would it only be
Oh,
in
okay.
one
Well, how
region?
did they do that?
Well, like they do it with the
Didn't
other
they do
games.
Assassin's Creed? Didn't they do only Assassin's Creed Odyssey in Japan or some other high tech game in Japan only?
Yeah, so they did Resident Evil 7 and Odyssey in Japan, but recently they actually put some out in the West too. So Control and Hitman
Oh,
are
yeah, I didn't
available
even
as
know that.
cloud games in the West. You didn't
Yeah.
know? We covered this like in a direct like earlier in the year. Wow, you forgot, didn't you?
What? On the Switch?
Yeah,
But
yeah. You can
how
even
does it
like
work?
it's it's cloud. You download the client. You can try it out for 5 minutes, and if you want to pay, you can pay. It's full price. It's in the cloud with cloud saves. You can play it on your
But is this
Switch.
like a proprietary technology that IDOS uses, or is it
No, no,
something that
no.
everyone
Like
can use?
no, because otherwise, how would Control be using it? I think there's a company that
I don't
does it.
know.
I think it's a company that does it for the Switch, and other companies can just use it. It's I think just a kit because the interface for
Okay.
oops, the interface for um what was I saying? The interface for Control and the interface for Hitman is pretty much identical. When you boot up the game, you start off in the cloud interface where you can select what you want to play. If you want to play the trial for 5 minutes, or if you want to directly jump in and like buy it and then just play the full game. By the way, if you play the trial, it does not save your game, so it's not like you can continue on if you bought the trial. If you tried the trial, I mean, it's 5 minutes. What are you gonna save in 5 minutes? It's easy to play that again. But it is weird to see
I
like
know.
Control running on a Switch or Hitman running on a Switch, and it actually doesn't look half bad. There's like if you have a good connection, there's like little to no artifacting. I mean, it's not GeForce Now levels or Stadia levels, but you know, gets you through. The only downside is just you're buying a cloud game, which you know how I feel about that.
Isn't that the future of gaming as we know it?
No, no, that's bad. Especially for game
Oh,
preservation,
yes,
that's bad.
I I understand for Nintendo that's bad because they don't want to be able to squeeze out every dime from every customer. But if you look at the trend in the industry, where
Oh yeah, because you think that no other developers won't do this, aren't are rather doing that instead, like
well, at
having
least they don't
physical
bring out games
releases.
like well, at least they don't do the Mario trick in which they bring it out and then pull it off the market.
Oh no, they do stuff like Square Enix where they'll bring out a game for one system and then a generation shift happens. They bring out DLC and they say, "Well, we're not bringing it out for the old ones where we have more players on it." I'm telling you right now, like I'm pretty sure we're gonna get the integrate demo, the DLC. We're gonna get it on PlayStation 4 because there's like the install base that has Final Fantasy 7 on PlayStation 4 is bigger than the install base of the PlayStation 5. Why would you miss out on so much money?
I know.
It's such a bad idea.
I
Plus the
have
fact
no
that if you
idea, and they'll
buy a
probably do it in a few months.
plus if you buy the PS5 version of Final Fantasy 7, it does not come with the DLC. It comes with a code for the DLC. So you can't even resell it to someone or lend it out and expect them to be able to download integrate. They'd have to pay $20 for it again. It's like a stupid DRM thing.
Yes, it's almost like EA, the Japanese EA.
Oh, please no, that would be very very bad. I mean, they'd make a lot of money, but that not like that, not like that. No,
I
we
think
don't
it's
need them to
because
have.
they're.
Yeah.
I think because they're kind of desperate that they're resorting to this kind of stuff, because as I said, this Square Enix had the worst press conference. At least I thought it was the worst one, and they
Oh,
didn't
it
have a lot of
was.
stuff to show. I mean, and it's like a desperation move to just keep afloat because there's no money
Yeah.
coming in otherwise.
Well, no, they're getting plenty of money in. Like here's the thing, right? So a press conference does not show how well or bad a company is doing. It's just showing what they feel that they can show. Because we know that Square Enix is working on a bunch of other stuff. It's not like they're strapped for cash. They have plenty of mobile games that are bringing in the cash for them. So they're not they're here's the thing, they're not strapped for money because of all the mobile games they have in Japan. Trust me, they're getting a lot of money out of that because
Yeah,
it's
but I
all
don't
gacha
think that
based.
their core audience is not waiting for mobile games. Their core audience is waiting
Yeah,
for
but the
stuff that they're
mobile games
known
is not
from.
for their core. It's not just for their core audience. Remember, like stuff like that is not to get just your core audience excited. It's to get the casual audience that maybe once upon a time was a Square Enix fan, but they've fallen off since, and this is a way to reconnect with IPs that they love. Because I know, at least from anecdotally, that there are people that play, like for example, the Dragon Quest Pokemon Go clone is still being played in Japan. It's specifically made for Japan. It's why it's never been out in the West because they have like specific landmarks that are in Japan pop up in the game as like actual tangible like structures in the game. So I don't think that Square Enix is like in trouble financially. It's just that the games that they bring out, or the games that they're working on, are still being worked on, and they have nothing to show for it at the moment. What they were able to show is what they were able to show, and I feel like their attention, like as a Japanese company, is still focusing on Japan, which it's 2021 Japan. Like, wake up. Like, it's a global thing. Gaming is a global thing. Try and be more global. Like, you have Western studios, be more global. Um, so it's kind of a bit of a shame that they do stuff like that. And yeah, then people get this. Gosh darn it, I keep hitting this. Um, then you get this, and people get this impression that they don't have anything going on, despite the fact that we know that they're working on a new Final Fantasy, despite the fact that we know that they're working on um, two different new games for Switch. We also know that they're working on Dragon Quest 12, which is not coming out anytime soon, but we know that they're working on it. They have a lot going for them. We know that Crystal Dynamics probably has a teeny tiny um, team that's probably working on the next Tomb Raider. Um, we have the Guardians of the
They
Galaxy thing that's
better.
coming out. I'm assuming that that's the case. I
I'm really
can't
not
confirm that.
excited for that.
What, for a new Tomb Raider?
No, I'm not excited for the Guardians of the Galaxy game. It
Oh,
gave me Avengers vibes all over again.
I'm willing to give it a shot. Um, I don't have high hopes, but I'm not dismissing it outright. I want to see
Okay.
how it is first before I give my final judgment on a game. Because sometimes, like I've done it before, like, oh, this game looks stupid. I'm not gonna play it, and then I hear like a whole bunch of positive things, and I play it and say, okay, I see your point. Um, so so outside of that, there were a lot of games announced that we did not cover, mostly because they were part of other stuff. Like for example, uh, the PC game show had like a whole bunch of games in it that got announced, which apparently were really cool. The only downside with the PC game show, just like every other year, is it is a show filled to the brim with sponsorships, so they have to advertise every 5 minutes. Like like every two games that they announce or show off, there's an ad for something. There's an ad for Intel. There's an ad for Dell. There's an ad for this. There's an ad for that. Like they showed off this like force feedback engine for steering wheels. Like cool.
Was it by Fanatec?
I think so. I have no idea. I did not pay attention.
If it's
It was
Fanatec,
just
they're like the
it was this
leading
big
guys
block. There
for.
was this big block, like this big block where you could put a control steering wheel on. You probably know it better than I do, so I'm
I
not
think
really
it's
into that.
the Fanatec one. I can, I can tell you from experience because I drove in. So basically, there are like multiple steering wheels. You have like the basic level entry stuff, which use
Mm-mm.
gears, and then you have like a higher level, which uses a band, and then you have something that, for example, Fanatec, which is like a really premium offering. They use something a system called Direct Drive, and you need a huge, chunky, big block that houses all the components in it. A couple of weeks ago, I was able to try one out, and it's like driving a real car. There is real resistance on it. In fact, there is so much resistance on it, but the one I used had the resistance cranked down, but it
Mm-hmm.
has so much force on it that if you hit a wall and you don't let go of the wheel, or if you hit the wall in the wrong position and you don't let go of the wheel and the wheel turns, it will either break your fingers or it will break your arm or push it out of its location, dislocate it, because there's so much force on that wheel that it will do that. I've heard stories from people that had their thumbs broken because they were holding the steering wheel and then the wheel just turned
Ah.
and that they didn't anticipate it. But that's how powerful that stuff is, and that's how realistic it feels. I mean, like if you go over curbs, you can feel the minute, like the subtle vibrations in the steering wheel while you go over a curb. And that's only the steering wheel. There are mods that you can put under your chair, which is like a big vibration motor under your chair, and then
Mm-hmm.
your chair will vibrate if you drive, for example, also move based on the layout on the track. It's like sim racing is something crazy. It's crazy expensive, but it's only meant for people that are, don't go thinking, oh, I'll just head it go into the sport and I'll just do it like it's nothing. I mean, it's for that kind of like the flight sim audience. Those are also dedicated people. But it's funny that Fanatec you would sponsor such a thing because I mean, they make a shitload of money
Mm. Well,
already.
now we know. Now we know why. Yeah. So it's
Because
kind of disappointing because it's not a bad show. Like if you take all the sponsorships out of it, you have a solid like 45 an hour show. But just putting the ads in it bumps it up to 90 minutes, and it just gets boring and drags on forever.
I
Not
couldn't
like
watch
not
it. It was so
Like,
cringy.
yeah, like nothing against the hosts. Like I feel like the hosts, you know, do the job that they need to do. But yeah, I don't know, man. It just drags on a bit too long. So
And cringy.
sure, and cringy. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else outside of the stuff that we already talked about. Maybe
I,
people haven't heard the episode yet, but um, I will say this: the winners for this E3 were definitely the gamers, obviously, because at the very least, we got a decent amount of games announced. Um, if
People
it's up
got to
to
see
you,
Elden Ring.
we got to see Elden Ring finally. Um, it's up to you if all the
Yeah,
game announcements were your cup of tea. I know that not everything is everybody's cup of tea. I was super excited, for example, for Metroid Dread. Um,
I was a.
I keep
They had
bumping
me
into
at
the my
Battlefield.
damn pop filter. Yeah, I assumed that that would be the case. um, yeah,
Battlefield.
so
Yeah, bring it.
I'm curious though. It's kind of a shame that the online is not the same, so there's no cross generational multiplayer. Because I think on the current generation it's only 64, and and then on next gen it's 128. So that's a
It
little bit
is.
disappointing, but I understand why that's the case. Um, What else?
The cool thing is they were really able to convey that in the trailers that 128 people in the server. I really felt that because in some moments I was like, "Whoa, this is so crowdy! Oh, whoa, this is so crazy!" But at the same time, it feels like all out warfare.
It feels like crazy. There was a tornado.
Yeah, and who knows what else?
Hmm. Thunderstorms, maybe. But I will say it is impressive to see all of that stuff going on while people are playing the game. Like I think I said it off mic the last time we recorded, but or maybe I said it on mic. I don't remember. Um, this week has been a blur. But like I said, I'm not surprised. Like on the first day, some people are gonna be like, "Hey, stop the shooting. Let's all gather in one spot, all 128. Let's make sure we're all in one spot, and then let the mayhem commence." That would be something awesome to see because at that point they
That
are
would be nice.
promising up to 100 and up to they said up to 120 frames. So that means it's not hitting the 100. It's not solid, but that's fine. Um, I want to see how far that frame rate drops as soon as everybody tries to shoot each other. 128 people, because that's more than like a battle royale game, and even then, um, I mean, technically they can come together. But I mean, when
Well,
they do like the screenings and the concerts in Fortnite, it's like 100 people in there, so or 100 people per server in there. So yeah, of instance or whatever you want to call it.
I think Warzone. I think Warzone supports 150 players in Verdansk on PS4 and Xbox One.
But have you ever seen it go up that high?
I only play Rebirth lately, so I haven't played it. But I think I
Because I
have seen
don't
over a
remember.
hundred people in Warzone.
Because I don't remember that when I was playing. So maybe it's just me.
Yeah, but the issue with Verdansk is that the map is so massive, you just randomly get sniped by somebody and then you don't see it. Whereas with Rebirth, it's only 40 people, but you see a lot more people. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Anything else that popped out to you that you want to like address in this?
I want to commend, and that's a conversation I had with a friend of mine. Like Microsoft clearly has a win with XCloud or Xbox Cloud Gaming, and also with Game Pass. And it is they offer tremendous value for Game Pass, bringing
Hmm.
27 games to Game Pass on day one, both on PC if there's a PC version and on Xbox. And apparently, they're going to keep the Xbox One owners in that cycle as well by having the. I think that's where the cloud pro part comes in, where the game will run off of an Xbox Series X and it will be streamed to an Xbox One, but you will get kind of like Series X kind of graphics on an Xbox One since there's just streaming involved. That
Hmm.
will apparently also be yeah, of course it will be dependent on your internet connection. I think it's a huge, it's a smart move because that way you keep those Xbox One players invested as well. If they don't want to get a Series X just yet, they can still you can hook them on Game Pass, so you can still earn money off of them that way. Because you know, at the end of the day, we care about money. But I mean, it's a
Uh,
really good move for the gamer as well. Um, the only thing is that Microsoft showed off a lot, and
mhm.
now it's up to them to deliver because
That's the
they made a
thing.
lot of lofty promises, lot of lofty promises, but if they fail to deliver on it, then those promises are worth nothing. And some games will, of course, deliver on it. But for example, as I mentioned, Halo Infinite's multiplayer is becoming free to play, meaning you have to pay 60 euros or 70 bucks for just the single player of Halo Infinite. That better be the best the single player
Single
campaign
player.
ever and last a lot for people to justify you spending 70 bucks on it. Because if they don't, people will feel let down. I mean, yeah, I mean, if it's a Call of Duty esque single player which lasts 6 hours, well, you can bet people will grab their pitchforks and start marching because the multiplayer is free. So
Yeah. Which okay, so one, yes, obviously, but also two, Game Pass.
Yeah, if people want it.
So I think you're gonna see a lot of people probably buying the game because they're not interested in Game Pass. Which, there are people out there that are like that, which makes sense. Especially if it's if it's single player only, so no co-op possible. I wouldn't see why you wouldn't just get Game Pass and then just play the single player that way. Because it's $15. If it's like 6 hours or whatever, you get your fill. You play it once, you get your achievements, you're done. But if you feel like it's a game that you're going to be revisiting over and over again, and you're not going to be playing it with anybody else, then I can see that then I can see that making sense, right? Because then you don't have to worry about um, not being able to play with other people because Xbox Live is bundled with Game Pass. So if you buy Game Pass, you instantly have the ability to play online. Um, and since they took away the requirements for free, which is also kind of interesting because they took away the requirements for Xbox Live for free to play games, and the multiplayer is free to play. So that means you don't need
I
Xbox
think they're
Live
aiming to get.
to play that.
Yeah, I think they want Halo Infinite's multiplayer to kind of be something like Warzone or Fortnite, that just everybody jumps on the wagon. And if you don't have an Xbox, you can use the cloud program. Um, so still, you can play it for free. So it's a smart move from their point of view.
I'm curious. The only like the plus side of that, of course, is the fact that where okay, so Warzone has now you have Verdansk and then you have Rebirth, right? With Fortnite, it's just well, you have like you can play solo or do or whatever, and you have these special modes that they do once in a while. I've tried a few of them. Honestly, I don't care except for like the base battle royale in Fortnite. The other stuff is fine. I just kind of don't care. Um, they're also not great. You can really tell that they're really trying to stretch game ideas with that create mode, but it is kind of hampered by the fact that it's the Fortnite game engine that they're doing this kind of stuff in, and it's kind of perfectly sharpened, honed for one specific game mode in mind. And when you try to force it into a different game type, you kind of can see the seams and the cracks in the facade. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see, man. I mean, considering that it's free, I might actually, yeah, I'd still need to get Game Pass to play it on the cloud, I guess. Um, did they even say that the
You do
multiplayer was in the cloud? Because
for
I don't
Halo.
remember seeing. Yeah, for Halo, yeah, I don't remember seeing that.
I think it comes
So
out when the game launches.
I'll have to double check on that because it would be
I can't
sweet if you
imagine them
didn't.
releasing the multiplayer right now.
Mm, well, I'm just curious to see if you'll necessarily need Game Pass Ultimate so that you can play the multiplayer through the browser. Considering that the multiplayer is free to play anyway, so it's kind of like a weird thing. But also, I'm not 100% sure now if the multiplayer is coming to Xbox Game Cloud. So I have no idea. I have no idea. Um, Outside of
We'd have
that,
to check it out. But I think if it is there, it will be part of Game Pass Ultimate.
yeah. And so outside of that, with with Game Pass leading the charge, like they kind of showed off a lot of good stuff. They shot off with Microsoft. Here's my thing with Microsoft. They showed off a lot of potential. The question is, will they be able to meet that
Hmm.
potential? I don't know. I actually do not know
Yep.
because a lot of these
Yep.
games are coming out next year. The games that are coming out this year are known entities. Even with Halo being what it is, being what it's going to be, is still a known entity. So there's no mystery around it or curiosity of if it's going to be well or not. You've played Halo, you can pretty much expect what you might get from Halo. Outside of that, we don't know. We don't know about that new game from Arcane Studios. What is it called again? Red. Oh gosh, I forgot the name. Red something.
Redfall,
Um,
something like that.
yeah, something like that. So that was a CG trailer, and then there was a new game from the Just Cause guys called Contraband, which was also full CG. It's like, okay, they showed like some key words like open world co-op and stuff like that. It's like that says nothing to me. That says
That's
absolutely nothing
so
to me.
general.
That's so exactly. That's so generic and basic. It makes it sound less awesome than the trailer trying to make it out. The only good trailer that they showed, and I already said it before, and I'll say it again, bar none. Best trailer from all E3, The Outer Wilds 2, because it was honest and it was hilarious, and they played into the stereotype. It was a CG trailer. It showed us
They
absolutely
did.
nothing, and yet they did it anyways because they knew they could get away with it by making it funny and poking fun at themselves and the industry. So,
They did.
kudos to them. I don't know who in their marketing department thought that that was a brilliant idea, but that person needs a raise right now and a promotion.
um,
Uh,
Chief
so,
Creative Officer.
yeah, man, seriously, if you're not chief creative officer at this point, they are robbing you blind. Go find a better job where they'll acknowledge your brilliance. Yeah, that was just the best trailer ever. um,
Head of Epic game trailers.
yeah. Oh man, that was too funny. Um, so we talked about Square Enix and how they didn't show a lot of stuff, but also another company that didn't show a lot of stuff was Ubisoft. At best, they showed two games that we weren't aware of. One that got leaked, which is the Mario Plus Rabbits, which is coming out next year. They at least showed gameplay, so that's something. But for the rest, they didn't show anything else
Yeah,
that
it
we
looks
were
fun.
aware of. Like they didn't show off the Vision game that they said they were working on, either the
Nope.
mobile or the battle royale one. They didn't again. I don't know if they're working on it or not, or if they're just trolling for trolling's sake. We didn't see a new Splinter Cell. Um, I'm assuming that
Yep.
they're working on a new Ghost Recon, but they're still supporting Ghost Recon, so that's okay. Um, they seem like
Yep.
someone said it in another video before that I looked up that they also did like a summary thing, and they may actually made up a really good point that due to the things that happened at Ubisoft, a lot of higher ups have left or were kicked out because of shady stuff that they were doing. That was just a big fat no no. Um, so apparently they're kind of it's or at least it seems that the upper like the upper leadership in at Ubisoft outside of Yves Guillemot, um, it seems like they're kind of a bit of rudderless and they're trying to find their way. And one of the things that came out of that is that they were wanted to focus on the whole the high end free to play stuff. So how that's gonna go, we don't know. I don't think we'll see anything for from that end till like at least at the earliest next year, at the latest maybe I
I
don't
wonder
know 3 years from now.
if it's yeah, in Far Cry 6, for example, you saw that I think you can play as a male character and I think you can play as a female character, but they
Yeah, I
only
think it's a
kept showing the
customizable.
female character.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they only kept showing the female character, and I wonder if that's like a deliberate diversity decision because they kind of got some flack for, representing women less in games, or based on what happened internally. I'm always for female characters, but then I don't want it to be forced because, like for example, in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I felt that Cassandra was the better character because she had a far better voice actor, and the character came alive a lot more. But
Hmm.
in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I had the opposite, and I picked the male character because I felt that Eivor was more alive than the female one. So
Oh, that's fair. I mean, it's what it's what your flavor is, right? I mean, for example, with Mass Effect, I pick Femship because Femship is the one true ship, and there's no other ship. If you tell me that there's another
No, no,
ship,
no,
I
no,
will
no,
deny
no.
it.
It's
There's
male
only
ship,
one ship. It's Femship. It's always been
and
Jennifer
that's male
Hale.
ship. No,
It's always been Jennifer Hill. She is Femship. She's the one true ship. Um, no, but like stuff like that is more. It's more up to performances, right? It's what you prefer in that regard. Do you prefer the male performance or the female
yep.
performance? And with Ubisoft, I don't know if you I don't know if you stuck around after the Ubisoft Forward, but they did this in-depth character reveal for a new character coming to Rainbow Six Siege, or the new operator in Rainbow Six Siege called Thunderbird, who is like Native
I watched
American.
that one.
Yeah. So they had like this whole in-depth thing on how they got advice from like actual advisors, from that specific tribe, and what her tattoos mean, or like what her representation in game is, and like that she's one of the first characters of that um uh specific, what do you call that? What's the word I'm looking for here? Um of that specific like
Tribe.
native tribe, or a native character being represented in video games at all, is it's a pretty huge deal. At the same time, like you said, um, Far Cry 6 has a created character, and you can be male or female, and they only showed off the female, which is also fine. But then you kind of start to see a pattern because I think in the extraction demo, the character that was captured or was also a female operative from Rainbow Six Siege.
Yep.
And the
Yes.
person leading the team, I'm pretty sure, was also female.
Yep.
It kind of becomes a real interesting pattern when you look at it that way. I'm pretty sure they don't mean anything by it, but like you said, it might be a thing of like overcorrection with Ubisoft, because they also, like, before Ubisoft Forward started, they do like these pre-show stuff, and they had this like weird this interview kind of thing, um about how this person at Ubisoft had an idea, and through their internal program she was able to head that idea. And again, that was also like they put emphasis on the whole diversity thing at Ubisoft. So is it better at Ubisoft now? I don't know. Um, Reports said that it wasn't. Um, we don't know what's going on. We haven't seen hide nor hair from a bunch of things. Are we going to see, for example, Beyond Good and Evil 2? My answer, I think I said it before, but my answer is we're not going to see Beyond Good and Evil ever again. Skull and Bones got delayed again. Big shock. Um,
Well, it got delayed last year and indefinitely.
yeah, wait, was it indefinitely?
Yeah.
I thought it was just delayed till like 2020. Oh wow, okay. Never mind. That game is never
They,
coming
I
out.
think they went. They went back to the drawing board. I think with that one.
I guess that might be an option. I
I
mean, they
mean,
tried.
from what I saw, it looked like a pirates game, but it looked like only pirate combat with ships. Whereas with a game like that, I would expect it to kind of be like a Assassin's Creed Black Flag Part 2, where you kind of get to go off your ship and have adventures off the ship as well. And that the ship is an integral part of the experience, but that it's not like an Ace Combat, where it's just in jets, but then with battleships. I would expect that game to offer you a lot more freedom. Otherwise, people would maybe get bored of it.
I think that's what they ran into, because when it got announced, people basically said that. Well, they even Ubisoft themselves admitted that they were inspired by people loving the ship combat from Assassin's Creed 3 and 4 Black Flag. So that's why
Yep.
that game exists. So it's basically just a naval combat, and they probably tried to make it work with just the naval combat, and that might have been the hurdle that they've been against. It could also be a technical hurdle because the sea battles kind of tend to tank the frame rate sometimes. At least in Assassin's Creed 3. I have Assassin's Creed 4, but I have the Wii U version, so I haven't touched it in years.
Oh man.
Um, and I don't. I just like I'm pretty sure I only played like 5 minutes of that game, so I don't even know how the naval combat is in that one. If it's, I must. I
Shame
heard that it was
on
way
you.
better. Yeah, yeah, I know. I heard that it was better than in three.
I mean, it was the
With more.
first game I played on PS4, and I loved it. It's one of the best Assassin's Creed games out there. And instead of just switching character every Assassin's Creed game, they should have just stuck with that character or with that family because you play as the grandfather of Connor, who is the character in Assassin's Creed 3. So they
Hmm.
should have just kept with that saga and just done more with it, kind of like they did with Ezio. Because I really love that game. It
Yeah,
just
but where can you
the
go?
only thing.
The only character you weren't able to play was the dad, and that's because he was the antagonist in three.
Well, make a game with the dad. Yeah, but like make a game with the dad where he goes from, I think he was an assassin and he turned
He was
into
an
a
assassin. Yeah.
Templar. Yeah, so like do the whole game wherein you kind of go through that journey to the point where he turns into that Templar, and then at least like, oh, okay, so what? So that's like the prequel to 3, and then you kind of know how the whole story unfolds.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. But that at least
No,
that
no,
way you can
no,
see.
not guess. It would be awesome.
At least that way you can see why he got turned by the Templars.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Sure.
it's kind of like make it like a Rogue One thing that it ends where Assassin's Creed 3 starts.
Yeah. All right. Okay. That would be interesting, but they're not doing that, so we don't know what they're doing with Assassin's Creed next time. But we won't be seeing a new Assassin's Creed until 2023. I'm assuming
Next
because
year.
we're not gonna get one next year. I don't think
Well,
we're
I
gonna
think
get
next year.
I don't think so. Um,
I think they're gonna bridge the gap with DLC till the new one comes out next year, but that way they can keep fans entertained until the new Assassin's Creed comes out next year.
hmm,
I mean, Assassin's Creed brings in a lot of money for Ubisoft, so I don't think they'll earn a lot of money off of the season pass as much as they do when they do a season pass and a full game release in the same year.
not unless another team is working on a free to play Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that maybe Japan would be a destination for them to go, but seeing as kind of Ghost of Tsushima swooped in and basically may became Assassin's Creed in Japan, I think
Who
Ubisoft is going to
cares?
stay away from Japan
No, why not? Who cares? They can do Japan. They
because a
can do
lot of
Japan in
people
their
will,
own
yeah,
way.
but a lot of people will compare it to Ghost of Tsushima that way.
So what?
If Ghost of Tsushima is the better game, then their game won't sell, so they won't take that risk.
Oh yeah, because people love Valhalla. They're super excited for the DLC. They're not complaining about the fact that
Well,
Valhalla was
apparently
so
Valhalla's the
ridiculously long.
well,
I'm not
apparently
just talking
Valhalla's the
about you. Like
best-selling
people
Assassin's Creed
really
game.
people
I
that
know.
might be the
But
case. That
like,
might be the
apparently,
case.
it's the best-selling AC game. So that look, it contradicts each other.
That is not impossible. That is obviously possible.
How can it be the best-selling Assassin's Creed game, and then we hearing so many people say, "Oh, I really regret buying the game," or "Oh, the game really sucks." So
No,
then
not
it could be the
no, no,
best-selling
no.
game, but the
It's not that
customers
the
aren't
game
happy with their purchase.
sucks. It's not that the game sucks. It's just that it was too long. So,
And too
pe-
empty.
yeah, and too empty. Yeah, I heard that one too. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting dilemma to have. But we're not Ubisoft employees. We don't work for Ubisoft. We are not able to give advice to
If we were,
Ubisoft.
we would have been fired by now.
Oh yeah, definitely. uh, yeah, I
Uh,
honestly I wouldn't mind a new Splinter Cell if they can. I have no idea where they would go with that story, anyways. Though I I don't know
I'm
what's
telling
going on
you,
with
with Assassin's
Ubisoft.
Creed, they should have kicked the Animus part. That Animus story is
Yeah, they could.
literally
I
like
don't.
a
I don't.
dead weight on their leg.
I don't understand why they haven't jettisoned, because they had a perfect moment to do that, and that is when the Ezio story ended. They could have dropped that
Yep.
altogether. They did not to need. They did
Yep.
not continue to need to have it, because in like the sequential
Yep.
games, I think it's there just because it's lore. But outside of that, they don't do
Yep.
a lot with it, right?
Like in the earlier games, you would get pulled out of the Animus a lot,
Yeah,
and the further they got in the franchise, the Animus was more like, we created this Animus thing, and we kind of have to keep the story going because we can't just ditch it. But we actually know people don't like it, because then eventually you get pulled out of the Animus rarely now.
yeah. I don't know. It's
I mean, what
Ubisoft's in a
happened
weird
to?
place.
Yeah, I mean, it easy. They could have just started in the first game with Altair, and then every game you are the descendant of Altair in another era, and then there's some common thread, or the Assassin's Creed order keeps note of everyone and then passes those notes on to the descendants, kind of
Yeah,
like a book or something, or part of the order, and then that would have been a whole lot better than this silly Animus thing with your blood this, and then eventually they just you become a random generic dude that has the memory of blah blah blah, or just sequence itself into the memory of blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah,
yeah.
man, you're losing me. I really don't care about this anime stuff.
Also, that's not how memories work.
Yep. In games they
uh,
do.
yeah, in games they do. Oh well. Is there anything else you want to talk about that like caught your eye or like
Well,
surprised
apparently
you?
today is well, it's not related to E3, but apparently is, or at least maybe it is, but I don't know. It kind of like came out on the side. Is that a while back a game called Abandoned got announced on the PlayStation blog,
I
and
remember that.
um, from the start, people were like, yeah, this looks a lot like a Kojima teaser, kind of like he did with Silent Hill, or kind of like he did with Phantom Pain. And then one of the producers immediately came out on Twitter and said, no, 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 we have nothing to do with Hideo Kojima. We're flattered that you think we are, but we have nothing to do with him. And then I think in the E3 week, they dropped a tweet saying, Abandoned is our working title. We will soon be announcing our game's name. It starts with an S and it ends with an L. So a lot of people were like,
Silent
Silent
Hill.
Hill. And then a couple of days later, the same guy comes on Twitter and says, "Oh no, no, it's flattery, but we didn't meant to mislead you. It's definitely not Silent Hill. We will be revealing the name soon, but it's not Silent Hill, and we're sorry that we caused this confusion or created this false hope." So people started digging around, and they are subtly finding hints that it could be another troll or prank by Hideo Kojima, and that it
It's
is
too
actually
subtle for
the.
Kojima.
I don't know. I mean, it's funny that a lot of people for example, the studio that's working on it is called Blue Box.
Hmm.
The font in the logo is the same font used in the PlayStation Studios trailers. The PlayStation Studios trailers opens up with a blue box. Like subtle hints. The guy, the producer's name is uh, Hassan or Husan Karaman, and those initials are HK, which could also stand for Hideo Kojima, stuff like that. And I mean, I always say with this stuff, if you want to look for hints or if you want to find something that confirms your story, you will. But it's
Hmm.
like it's really funny to see people going all crazy about this. So I'm really curious where this will go, because it is strange that the guy says, The title of our game starts with an S and it ends with an L." I mean, come on, what are you expecting if you say that?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a game nobody's ever heard of, they will never guess the title of your name. And I think this is the only way how you get people to guess what it is. And if it isn't Silent Hill, well then shut up and don't say starts with an S and ends with an L because we don't know who you are. We've never heard of you, so we won't be able to guess the name of the stupid game,
uh,
right?
yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see. We still haven't
Uh,
heard anything from Sony when they're going to do a new state of play. If you're right and it's in July, that means it's going head to head with EA. And they, I feel, have. Okay, it's kind of weird to say it like that. I feel like EA has way more at stake than Sony does, um, in terms of reputation, not so
they
much in
do.
terms of survival. So I don't know. We'll see.
I think
Uh,
EA is gonna double down on the Battlefield this season.
they kind of have to, unless they have a new Star Wars game coming out.
Well, they're releasing the Jedi Fallen Order on next gen this summer.
Not a new game. That's an update.
I know, I know. No, it's like the game already has an update, but this is like the director's cut version kind of stuff, you know?
Okay, can we like revisit the whole Death Stranding director's cut thing? I think we talked about it, but I don't think we talked about it enough. Why in the Sam Hill is that thing called a director's cut?
I have no idea.
Because it is. I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's Kojima or what, but gosh darn it, it makes no sense for that thing to be called a director's cut because it's like the most pretentious thing that you can think of. Because the whole thing is designed by, written by, directed by, produced by freaking Hideo Kojima. Why on earth do you need a director's cut of a game that was clearly your vision to begin with? I'm just
Maybe
saying,
stuff
like
got cut
it's
and that he
weird.
wants to re-release that.
Again, producer, director, writer, what got cut?
I mean, he could have gotten into a issue like, oh, there's so much stuff I still want to put into the game, but I need to deliver the game before then. So just gonna cut all this stuff out so we can at least get a game delivered on
Then
launch.
call it an enhanced edition or a complete edition. Freaking
Hey,
director's edition.
I don't know, man.
Uh, I like I told you this before. The dude wants to direct movies, and this is like the most pretentious movie move that you could possibly make. Well, at
He's a
least
legend.
at least one thing is for sure. Oh, okay. So one thing is for sure. His company did not get bought by Microsoft because that was not revealed, and that's
I'm
not the
really happy
case.
that didn't happen. Yeah.
However, I did hear some news about Microsoft that I did not ever expected to hear. Xbox Series S and X, particularly the Series S, is selling really well in Japan.
I heard that the other day.
Dude, what the heck happened?
And apparently it's to new owners that have not bought Xbox consoles in the past.
Yeah, and you know why?
But I mean, no,
Shall I tell you why?
because they
Because
can't
it's
get their hands on a PS5.
no, that is not it. They think the
Oh,
X specifically the Xbox One S looks cute.
the Series S,
The Series S. What did I say?
the One S.
Oh, sorry. The names are so stupid. Ah,
Okay,
but
but
yeah,
but
because it's a tiny
best selling.
console. It's a
Yeah,
tiny console. It doesn't have a disk drive, so they don't have to worry about that. And it fits neatly in their entertainment system. In their entertainment
but
system, yeah.
the quote from Microsoft could be. I mean, it's relative. I mean, if the previous sales of the Xbox One were, let me say, 1 million in its lifetime sale in Japan, and now they've hit 1.5 million. I mean, yes, it's the fastest selling territory, but it's because they never had. I mean, the territory always performed poorly compared to other territories.
Yeah, but beforehand, all their consoles were big, bulky pieces of crap. Well, sorry, not they weren't crap, but they were bulky, which is something that um, Japanese tend to really not like
But then,
big
why would
stuff in their
people? Why would
apartments
they buy a PS5? Because
because they clearly fans. I mean, one, it's a Japanese company, so they'll always support
then
something
it's
that
like
comes from
a
Japan.
okay.
But Also,
So it's like
Sony
a
is not giving
loyalty
them.
thing or something.
It's a loyalty thing, but also Sony's not giving them an option. So plus, it's really hard to come by PlayStation. But I don't think that's the reason that Xbox is selling well in Japan. I think it's mostly the form factor and the fact that they think it looks cute because it's not taking up a lot of space. It's the same reason why portable systems do very well in Japan. It's why the PSP did well in Japan. It's why the Vita did well in Japan. It's why all the Game Boys and all the Game Boy Advances and the DSs and the Switch is doing well. It's something small and compact that they can take with them
So the Switch Lite
or
was
not.
basically invented for Japan.
The Switch Lite was, well, it was invented for different reasons. It was invented for people that, for definitely for more than one in a household. You know, you have the main one that you use in the family room, and then maybe Switch lights for your kids because they're relatively cheaper compared to the regular Switch. Um, for women gamers, because the they tend to like something small and neat. Plus, they're in the pastel colors. Um, which honestly they'd look very nice in person. So yeah, score one for that one. But yeah, like the small thing to be taking with you more easily. Yeah, it's something that definitely plays well in Japan. So I guess they
Okay.
kind of, I don't know if it's accidental or if they actually thought about it that that might actually help them sell in Japan, because I honestly legit thought that after the abysmal sales of the Xbox One, they would never set foot in Japan again. But they did, and they did it with two consoles. One that's medium and one that's relatively smaller.
Yeah, but I think it's like it's uh it's like they see it as a challenge to get to sell there. I mean, it's like a pride thing. They can say like, "Ah, we sold
Yeah.
more Xbox Ones in more series, blah blah blahs in Japan than previous generations. Wow, look
Yeah.
at us being hooah, stuff like that." I mean, otherwise they wouldn't. I mean, other companies would say like, "Hey, okay, our products just not cater to that market, so we're not going to
Mhm.
raise the resources on that market." But because they have a shitload of money, they're like, it's like the nerd who wants to take the prom queen to the queen to prom. He's like, I'm gonna do it. I don't
Yeah.
care. I see this challenge, even though he's kind of a nerd and he doesn't stand a chance. He's like, no, I'll find a way. I'm gonna do it. And then if he eventually pulls it off, well, then nothing can go wrong, and that nerd will feel like the king of the world on that prom night. So Microsoft's basically that.
True. True. Um. Yeah. I don't know. I think we're kind of. Do you have anything else?
Uh, no, but that's okay, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still waiting for. Apparently, the collector's edition for Metroid Dread is available in the UK and in Sweden. I have seen neither a hide nor hair from it in the Netherlands, so I'm getting a little bit worried because I kind of want to pick that up instead of like the regular version. I did pre-order it just in case they do end up doing it, because most of the time they'll call in and say, "Hey, we see that you have this pre-ordered and you're one of the first that pre-ordered it. Would you like to upgrade to like the collector's edition for so and such euros?" um, so I'm hoping that that happens because I still haven't seen anything. I haven't checked today, but I still haven't seen anything about it. Maybe I'll just swing by my local game store and ask them if they know anything already or not. I hope so because I kind of want to. It's pretty awesome. I don't know if I'm gonna get the amiibos because there's
I
two of
see
them and it's
you.
like $30. But Advance
You're
Wars
gonna get the
One Plus
amiibos.
Two rebooted. I want that so bad. I did check the price on on the eShop. That
Yeah, me
thing is
too.
$60. I'm like, ooh, okay. To be fair, it is two games. I kind of really want it, but it's in December, so that's still a ways off. I'm gonna consider that my birthday present to myself. So,
I
we,
want it as well, so maybe we can co-op
we
it.
yeah, we hopefully we can co-op it. It definitely has one to four player multiplayer. So like I'm assuming they just brought over the verses at least from one. What I did also learn, by the way, Like how Mercury Steam is making Metroid Dread, another Western developer is making the remake because Intelligent Systems, the developers of Advanced Wars, is working on the WarioWare game, the new WarioWare game. So the remake fell to Way Forward.
Oh,
Yeah, those guys are awesome when it comes to pixel art. Um, they're really good at like 2D stuff. Like River City Girls is one of their latest games. It's really pretty, and that's where their art style comes from. Because I looked at I've watched the trailer so many times, and I'm like, this art style feels so very familiar, and I couldn't put my finger on it. I was thinking, who's the developer of this remake? And it turns out it's Way Forward, and now the whole art style makes a lot of sense for the characters. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, and now I can see the resemblance with River City Girls and the re. I love the title Reboot Camp, the Reboot Camp edition. Oh, it's so
it's
silly and cute.
it's better than Red
King,
Faction Remastered Edition
uh,
or Kingdoms
or
of Amila
Amalur
Re-Reckoning.
Re-Reckoning. Oh my god, that's the absolute worst one ever. I've said it before and I'll say it
Yep,
again. That's the
yep.
worst one. Whoever thought of that one should be fired or at least docked in pay. Um,
It
but
was
yeah,
probably a marketing dude because
yeah, probably. So they're already doing what they love. But yeah, I think unless there's anything else, I have nothing else to talk about. I think we've covered E3 pretty
then
thoroughly.
let's head on over to the next segment.
Yep, we're gonna take a quick break and we'll be right back after this. And welcome back to the second segment, which is, of course, what we've been playing. Sean Templar, what have you been playing?
Um, I'm still going through my. I don't feel like playing anything. I don't know why, and I hope to get out of that mood soon. But for now, it is still. I don't know if it's the weather or something. Because I mean, there's enough to play. I have enough to play. It's just that I just don't feel like playing. All the only things I play are either Call of Duty Warzone or Formula One 2020. But I bought I won a gift.
You
I
want a
won a gift
giveaway?
card. Yeah, I won a gift card in a giveaway a while back. It was a 15 euros eShop gift card, and I won it through. He's a really cool guy. He's called Maester Geek. I think he's also one of the listeners of the podcast, and he did like this cool giveaway, and I didn't expect to win it, so I won it, and eventually I bought Stardew Valley with it on the eShop, and I had it on my Vita on my Switch for months, and well, not months. I think I won the giveaway last month. But like I had it on it for a while because I didn't feel like playing anything, and then the other day I felt like, hey, you know what? Let me just fire this up and see how it is. So I fired it up, Stardew Valley. The game looks absolutely gorgeous. It has that sprite looky graphics. Um, I'm liking it so far. It's a little bit overwhelming because you get dropped into it. There's no clear tutorial. They don't tell you what to do or how to do. They just give you like vague directions on, oh, you should clean up your farm, or hey, you should go into town and introduce yourself to everyone. I figured out if you press the minus button on the control of the Switch, you kind of see like a journal and it has objectives in it. And one of the first one is that go in town and introduce yourself to people. Introduce yourself to 28 people. I have no idea where to find these people. So I'm just constantly
They
walking
have fixed
around.
schedules. Every day they have
Yeah.
different schedules.
So
Yeah.
so I'm just trying to find these people. At the same time, while I'm cleaning my farm, your character has like this stamina bar, so you can't endlessly clean the farm. You also have to go to bed and rest when your energy is low. So it took me a couple of days in game to clean up my farm. It took me a little while to figure out how to switch between items and tools, and now I can. So I know how to use my pickaxe or my hatchet or my saw or whatnot. It's really fun. I didn't expect it. It's just really. Um, because maybe it's because so colorful and the graphics are really cool.
And there's no
I just get
pressure.
yeah, I mean, I just get this huge smile on my face. I almost feel super. I think I have a big smile on it while I play. I don't know, but it feels so wholesome and so satisfying. But yeah, that's basically what I've been playing for a bit. Um, I have tons of games I still need to play on my Switch and on my PlayStation. But I'm just I played another game. I think it's called Knockout City, which is the new dodgeball
Ah,
game.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I also won a key for that in a giveaway. I really people would almost say I'm this lucky guy, but always the giveaways I don't expect to win, I win, and the giveaways that I'm like, oh, this would be really cool to win, I never win, so that's always funny.
Mhm.
I was really happy and grateful to win this one, also through Instagram, and then I played a little bit of the game, like maybe 2 hours. So basically, it's dodgeball in an open worldy level. You first get the tutorial kind of to figure out how the mechanics works, and then you get matchmade with other people. It looks pretty nice. The graphics are also really colorful, um, and it's really fun. I mean, I sucked at dodgeball in real life. Here, at least, I stand a little bit of a chance. Um,
I know what you
I
mean by
honestly didn't
that,
know.
John.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know that the game was paid. I thought it was a free to play game. I think it also lends itself perfectly to be a free to play game with a battle pass that has outfits and stuff like that, or
Right?
fall skins. Yeah. So I'm surprised that this is a paid game. I mean, strange movie, eh? But hey, it's a really fun game.
They did change it up because I first added like, oh, the first 10 days you can play um like a trial. And then they extended that to
Okay.
you can play to a certain level for free, and then after that you have to pay for it.
Okay.
So you can now play a decent
Ah.
chunk
Okay.
of it for free if you download the trial version. But after you reach that criteria, you really do have to pay for it. It's $20. It's not a lot, but it really does lend itself well to that whole um uh what's the word I'm looking for again? The whole Fortnite esque gameplay and
Yeah.
mechanics of
It's
monetization and stuff. Although one thing I am not a big fan of
it's
the character
perfect.
designs. I don't know about you, but I'm not a really big fan of the character designs of that game.
Yeah.
They're not really pretty characters.
Yeah, I didn't pay a lot of attention to it. I was like, I was excited because I won something, and I was like, let me try this out, and just jumped into it, and I'm liking it so far. So, I mean,
We should,
uh, it's one of those games that you have to play to get better at. It's not
yeah,
like that you can
yeah,
just
yeah.
jump in and just play and win.
It's
Um,
100% skill based.
easy,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's like what they always say: easy to learn, hard to master. But yeah, I mean, it looks fun. I mean, it's been super hot here in the Netherlands the last few days, and also
Ugh, don't
humid.
even.
So like, I've been sweating while I sat inside, and the outside is too hot as well. So it's like, I feel like an ice cube that's constantly melting. So yeah, I didn't get into the mood to play a lot. When I played Stardew Valley, it was late at night because then it was a little bit cooler. um, uh, there is one thing that I'm really happy and excited about, and that's that this week the new colors for the DualSense came out, and my precious midnight black DualSense came in yesterday, and boy oh boy, is it a beauty! It is. I mean, I don't get excited about controllers. I mean, in the last generation with the PS4, I used to break my controller, I think every year because I just dropped them too much. And then something would happen, like either the analog sticks wouldn't work or there would be some delay or something. And I would always get the black controller. And then I would always wait for the days of play because then the controllers would be in discount as well. And then the last time I bought a white controller because I thought, like, you know what, I need to know which controller is the new one and which is the bad one or the old one because I had this collection of black controllers that were all just busted, so I never knew which one was working or not. I think I have like four black DualShock fours lying around that I don't know which one works or not. So I got the white DualShock. I was like, yeah, whatever. And then we of course got the DualSense, which is in dual tone, and we were like, yeah, but I don't like this because even though I keep my hands clean, it still kind of got dirty on the back where the PlayStation pattern is. And I tried to clean it off, but it didn't. And then they came out with the Midnight Black, and I got super excited. I mean, I was so
Mm.
ecstatic, so happy while I was unboxing it. And I mean, even had moments today where I had it in my hand and I looked at it and I was like, "This is how how you should have shipped 6 months ago. This you should have come with my PS5, not that I had to wait for this." And there's another cool thing is that I got the D brand plates for my PS5, so now I have this stealth edition matte black PS5 as well. I like to call it the ultimate stealth black PS5 because it has the midnight black controller and the plates, of course. It just looks so slick. It's just I can just look at it and smile all day. You know, it's like, hey, gorgeous, I see you. It's just
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
yeah.
It's
And
quite.
this is strange because I would never get excited about these things.
I have the same thing with the new 3DS because that one also had plates.
Mm.
It was always exciting when it was like, oh, this game or like this game has like plates for the 3DS. Let me get it. Super exciting. Like the because I got the ambassador edition, so I got it early before anyone else
Mm.
was able to buy one, and that one came with Super Smash Brothers plates, which were really pretty. No, did they? Yeah, they came with the Super Smash Brothers plates.
Mm.
This was Super Smash Brothers had come out a couple of months prior. So it's like, oh yeah, that's so cool looking. It's crazy. I like it. It's like it's very
Yeah.
nice. It's just a simple white design and the silver designs of the characters on it. It's so beautiful. I still have that. I have a Splatoon one. I have a Pokemon one that I never take off because it's just cool. I have a very I have an Animal Crossing one. I kind of missed that. I kind of wish the Switch was able you could customize a bit more easier officially.
You should.
Like unofficially, you have a bunch of stuff that you can do, but it requires you taking apart stuff. So or putting on decals, but
Yeah.
uh, no, I don't. Like it's fine if you're into that and you can put it on well, power to you, but no, not for me.
You should
Um,
do like a series on your Instagram with those things. Be cool.
yeah, I mean, I guess I could do that. I mean, it's just, again, it's not.
Yeah.
I literally rattled off all the places that I have, so that's
Mm.
it. But yeah, it's. I'm looking forward to that. Of course, I'm looking forward to the new games that were announced for Nintendo. Um, but for
I
now,
haven't.
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen while we're talking about this. I haven't seen the Red Switch in person, but from what I've seen on, I mean, like you have the product shots that always look different than the
Mhm.
actual stuff, of pictures that people take. But I saw some people take some pictures of their Red Switch, the Mario edition. I mean, that one also looks pretty slick. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, yeah.
red is my favorite color, but I never like to have it in like it's for me it's a color that is nice to see, but it's not necessarily a color that I want in everything. Like I don't have a red phone or a red watch. I mean those are available, but I'm like, but it's nice to see, but I don't need to have it. But with this red switch, I'm like, I kind of wish I got that one instead of the black gray one I have now.
There is a. So the interesting thing with the Mario one is that the whole system is good grief. This pop filter thing. The whole system is red. So normally when you buy a Switch, even if it's like a special edition, the Switch, like the actual console part, is always black. There might be some designs on there,
Yeah.
but it's always black. With the Mario one,
Yep.
they went out of their way to make it red. Outside of Switch lights, it's
Yep.
the only Switch that has a different variant color, which is really cool. The only downside is that because the kickstand is replaceable because it breaks off so easily, um, that's the only part that's
Yep.
black. Because when you buy a replacement one, they only have the black one as replacement.
I'm surprised they didn't make like a yellow Pikachu switch.
Mm, yeah, I don't know why they didn't do that either, but who's to say?
Yeah.
executive reasonings and blah blah blah. And I'm not a product designer, so I don't know. Um,
Me neither. But that's what I've been playing. What have you been playing?
yeah, so I played a bunch of stuff, so I'm just gonna rattle them off real quickly. Because you already know this, and if people are listening to this and you haven't seen it yet, I started streaming again on Twitch. It's the same handle that I use
It.
everywhere, which is at Maximilian X. You can find me there on Twitch. I don't have a schedule because my life does not really allow me to have a schedule at this point in time. Hopefully, in the near future, it's going to be a lot better, so I can have something a bit more stable. But yeah, I started streaming again. I specifically wanted to stream again because I wanted to live stream my reactions to the Nintendo Direct, which I did. You can catch the VOD on my Twitch channel, or you can catch it on my YouTube channel because I uploaded it there as well. Um, if you want to see someone freak out, like almost brought to tears by the new Advance Wars or the remake of Advance Wars 1 and 2, yeah, you're gonna see a very emotional Nintendo fan being very happy with a lot of announcements. Not all of the announcements, but at least a lot of them. Outside of that, I wanted to make sure that my stuff worked, so I actually did a live stream prior to that on that same day for Kerbal Space Program. Hey, it's Kerbal again. It's the first time in a long time since I talked about Kerbal, and this was so much fun to do on stream because there was wait, are you watching the thing?
I'm watching it right now. My phone.
Yeah, because I
I
can hear
wanna.
myself. I'm like, wait, what? Why am I hearing myself double? But it's like past me.
Oh, here. That's the part where you freak out is with the. Oh wow, this looks really funny.
Oh no, are you actually watching that? Oh, that's so
You know what the
embarrassing.
funny thing is?
What?
What people need to hear this.
Nobody's hearing it because it's being sound gated, dude.
Well, people need to watch this because the sounds that are coming out of you.
Seriously, you're gonna do a live
This is
react to?
hilarious.
You're doing a
This is
podcast react?
hilarious.
Oh, good grief! Ignore that, people. He's
But you know
we've
the funny
lost
thing
him.
about this is
What?
the funny thing about this is that this is exactly how I would expect you to be on a live reaction. We talked about this when we did the Q&A a while back,
Yeah.
where someone asked like, "Hey, will you ever do like a live reaction?" And I said like, basically this is how I told everybody and you how you would react to stuff, and it's so nice to see you kind of freak out because basically all I'm hearing is all those crazy sounds. What I mean, so yeah, I mean that's yeah, I love it. It's nice to see. I mean, if I probably wouldn't be I would be excited, but not in that way. You know, I was like, oh, nice, man. That's pretty cool. But you're like next level. I love it.
Well, it caught me completely off guard. I never thought we'd ever see an Advanced Wars game again. Um, so yeah, like I had to dig through my stuff so I can find the copy. So I actually have that. I haven't played it yet, but I need to do that again before I play it. I did check out some side by sides, and outside of the deployment of the of like your units, the maps have been tweaked, so that's going to be interesting to see. So I don't think you can play the maps on muscle memory, because yeah, some of the map layouts have slightly altered. Outside of that, I have
Hmm.
played that. Like I said, I played Kerbal. It was fun because I got a bit of help from the Kerbal Space community. I forget this guy's complete screen name, but I just call him Keith.
Is it
Um,
Keith?
no, it's Keith.
Oh, I thought it was Keith.
Kiet. Yeah, that's Kiet. It sounds very similar, but it's not. And he was such a great help. The first time I streamed and afterwards when I streamed again, he was such a great help. He has played over 1,000 hours of Kerbal Space Program. He got in. very early into the beta of the game. I think I said it before. Like I paid $15 for the early access of Kerbal Space Program. He paid 9, so it was really cheap when he got
Oh
in.
wow.
And yeah, he's seen it grow, and I guess I can call him a friend of the show now because um, hope I don't know if he's listening to this episode. I hope he is. If you are, hi Keith. Thank you again for your help during the stream. It was really fun. Um, like I just started streaming again, so it's not like I had a million people watching me. It's like a small group of people. We even got our buddy on, thanks to you. He was very excited to see me play. Yeah, I missed
He
for
I
one.
spoke to him after that.
Yeah, what did he
He
say?
said that I told him like, "Are you playing it right now?" After you've seen this, and he's like, "No, no, no. I think I'm done," because he got the platinum on the PS4 with the controller.
Mhm.
And I said like, "But are you sure?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm just probably gonna start it up in a bit and play it again." So,
Uh,
oh,
Kerbal is awesome. It is so cool. Did I was I successful? Yes and no. But I'm not gonna spoil how that went. You can watch the VOD. But let me just put it this way: Kerbal is such a fun game to play, even if it's by yourself. But through this, I kind of rediscovered my love for streaming because just talking and interacting with people online and trying to figure stuff out is just it I don't know, it kind of oddly enough fills a need that I apparently had. I don't know. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing Kerbal again for the first time in a long time, native on the system. Because before then, I was playing it on GeForce Now, and then they took it off GeForce Now, and I was so very, very sad. I'm still actually very, very sad. I kind of wish it would come back to GeForce Now because I don't always have access to my computer to play it on. Would be nice to be able to play it on something else while I'm on the go. Uh, just just give us Kerbal, man. Just seriously, Activision, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Just give us Kerbal on. Just give us Kerbal. Um, Still very excited that Kerbal Space Program 2 is coming out hopefully next year because that has multiplayer. So maybe we can actually do some multiplayer streams together. Maybe we can get our mutual friend also to play with us. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind because he loves Kerbal Space Program. Maybe we can even
I
get
can
Keith
tell you
on
that
the action.
he, he he um he played he plays it on he at least plays it on a PS4. He plays it on a Mac because he doesn't have a game PC. And
Hmm.
a couple of us have a game PC, and we're slowly turning everybody that's mocking us having game PCs because there was another friend and he didn't have a game PC. He would only play race games on the PlayStation, such as Gran Turismo. And every time we would tell him like, "Hey, why don't you just build yourself a nice PC? You know, you can have it all, better graphics, blah blah blah." And he would always say, "I don't play my games on office supplies." That's how he saw computers. The Dutch word he used for it was kantoorartikelen, which always made me laugh. And then fast forward like till January of this year, and then he suddenly bought like the best of the best, like best Intel CPU i7. Then the 30 series wasn't out yet, so it's like January of last year.
Yeah, yeah.
2080 Ti, the whole shebang. He sends me a message like, "Hey man, do you have any recommendations for this list? Should I swap out some parts because I'm gonna buy this one soon?" I'm like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, maybe you should look at this liquid cooler stuff like that." And then suddenly they have the PC. And then
Mm.
suddenly he upgrades his racing rig and he gets one of those expensive Fanatec racing wheels. I can tell you, those are expensive. They're like
Hmm.
1,200 euros or even more than that because it's like the real deal. And
Yeah.
then our mutual friend, the rocket scientist, he's like, "Yeah, no, why should I play on the PC? Blah, blah, blah. If I ever bought a PC, I would do it for VR gaming, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going to do that." And so suddenly we've turned him as well. And he wants to he wants to build his own PC. But of course, because of the pandemic, everything is expensive, especially GPUs. So he's on waiting lists for 3080s. but still no 3080s, especially with these inflated prices. So then the 3080 Ti comes out, and tries to buy one for 2,500 euros, and he
Yikes!
thinks he thinks he hasn't been able to pull it off. So the next day he sends us a picture and he says, "What did I do? What should I do with this?" And it's a brand new
Oh no!
3080 Ti in a box. He says, "I don't know
You
what to
could
do with this. I
sell it.
got this."
You
Yeah,
could
and then we
sell it.
told him
I
like,
don't know.
I told him like I would send it back, man, because 2,500 for GPU is crazy,
Yeah, that's
especially if
crazy,
you go
crazy.
off on the reviews and
Hmm.
the reviews say, um, "Is it gonna rain?" No.
I don't know. Not
Um,
here, at least.
so like, so I said like 2,500 is insane for GPU because you can build your whole PC for 2,500. And then another friend says, "No, I should keep it. You should keep it, and just build your PC because now you have it." And so he starts to get into doubt. And then the other day, the same day you streamed, and I spoke to him after the stream. I said, "What did you do with the 3080?" Because he was going to try to sell it off, but nobody bought it. He said, "I sent it back." So
Aw. Yeah, that's a
yeah.
little bit kind of a shame. But then again, 25. Yikes! That is
Well,
way too much.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
for the
So
unless
you'll
he
be
was
playing
gonna
on
do
PC
something
with him
very,
next year.
yeah. I mean, that's great. I just hope that he has a he doesn't go overboard with the graphics card again. So I played that.
Oh
I
no,
played
he's waiting for
I
a
played
3080
Kerbal.
now. So
Yeah. Good luck with that.
nice.
Maybe you should have just kept it. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
he's
played
not in
that.
a rush to get one. So
Yeah, that's fine. And Kerbal's not out yet, so you can wait. So I played that. I finally, like I said, I beat Uncharted the last time, and I finally, a couple of months ago, um, maybe like yeah, a couple of months ago, I yeah, phone call. Call later.
you're a busy man.
Um,
Shall we redirect the call to your secretary?
funny. Um, what was I saying? Yeah. So I actually finally a couple of months ago, on discount, bought Persona 5 Royal. So that was really cool. And now with
Nice,
the Uncharted trilogy done, that's my next step. So I started
nice.
playing that. I'm about 20 hours in, and I finally beat the first boss.
Yeah,
But like just like you with the heat, I was like, nah, man, it's too much. So I've not been play. I haven't,
yeah.
like, only a couple of days ago. I like played. I kind of powered through the first part. So now I'm just kind of playing it little by little. Especially now that I've finished like the first boss. That was really cool. The game is so pretty, but there's so many cutscenes. Like even for a JRPG, there's a lot of cutscenes. Um, but
It's
it's
the
still fun.
Hideo equivalent,
It's the what now?
the Hideo Kojima equivalent.
No, it's not that. That's not that bad. It's not like, oh, I can go up and make dinner bad. Because you still kind of need to thumb through it. But yeah, it's Persona 5. It's good. It's so far. I like the gameplay. They added a lot of stuff since Persona 4 that I actually like. For example, um, like this is the first Persona game that has the conversation mechanic that the Shin Megami Tensei games have. Because if you don't know, the Persona series is a spin-off of the Shin Megami Tensei games, and there you have this conversation mechanic where you can try and convince the demons that you're fighting to either come to your side and fight for you or fight with you, or give you money or give you items. And they put a simplified version of that in Persona 5, and it actually kind of works. The conversations are relatively simple to go through, and you can choose either, lend me your power, or give me all your money, or give me an item. Um, so, like, if you do, for example, give me an item, they'll either give it to you or they won't give it to you, depending on if they are. like a higher level or not. And the same thing goes for the money part. The only part that's an actual conversation is when you're trying to convince them to join your side. Which in the other ones is uh, yeah, which in the other ones is very, it's a bit more detailed in that aspect. So that's really cool to see, and they added a bunch of other stuff. But so far, so good. It's fun. I'm having a lot of fun, and I think that's about it.
Nice.
So, will you do the honors?
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, because
I will try to do it.
yeah, it's not you. It's because I'm getting like disturbed the whole time, and I need to kind of answer stuff. So,
Okay. So I'll do this quickly then.
oh,
Thank
you
you
can
all
take
for
your
tuning
time.
in. So thank you all for tuning in to a to our episode of Game Rivals. You can find us on all your favorite podcasting platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, Anchor, Google Play, wherever. We're probably there. You can reach us through email at gamerivalsfeedback@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter, game underscore rivals underscore. You can find Maximilian on Twitter, at Maximilian. Um, his YouTube channel is at Maximilian X, I think, or
That
no?
is right. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. His YouTube channel is Maximilian X, and it's the same on Twitch as well. So check him out there. You can find us on Instagram as well at Game Rivals. That's where you will find Lee mostly. At Maximilian underscore X is where you will find Maximilian. He also posts his Twitch streaming schedule, so be sure to check it out if you don't already follow him.
Well, I try to give
Um,
people a heads up before I stream if I'm gonna stream that day. Um, I don't. I'm gonna try and stream at least when I'm the. I don't think I'm gonna be streaming before this episode comes out. I might stream a day after the this episode comes out.
nice,
Um, my schedule is still a little bit wonky,
nice.
so I have to wait and see how that goes. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna be streaming yet. It might be Kerbal again, but I also picked up Death Stranding. If you follow me on my Instagram, you'll see that I picked up Death Stranding for like less than $20. Um, so I might do that instead. I don't know. But
Awesome game.
basically, my whole deal on Twitch is I randomly play games. That's how I've always played it. I don't have a fixed game that I play except for the time that I was super serious into Splatoon. But my thing is mostly just playing
Mm.
games randomly, and
I mean,
that way it's a bit varied, and it works in
that can be
the
nice.
I mean, it works in the current climate of Twitch. You used to actually have to focus on a single game back in the day, but now it's way more varied and open.
Mm,
So that is actually nice.
nice,
Yeah,
nice. And I think I've covered them all then with that. So
that's
on
right.
that note, I have been and always be Sean Templar,
And I have been, I will always be Maximilian X.
and we'll catch you on the next one.
Later.